All right, all right, all right. Carnivore Soldier coming at you from Austin, Texas. You made it. It's another year, 2024, and it's the first hump day of the year, guys. So glad you're here. Hope the holidays didn't destroy your diet. If you're just starting out, this is the place to be. We're going to be talking about some tips and tricks to get started. If you're rededicating yourself, this is the place to be. And if you're just driving on strong like a warrior, this is definitely the place to be. So let me bring in some guests here. We got two guests from Australia. I think they call it Brizzy. It's Brisbane. I'll bring them in. And then we have one from, I think, North Carolina. I don't know. Where are you from? Wrong state, John? Tennessee. Okay,
Close.
Tennessee.
Close.
It's up by there.
I could drive there and be there in an hour.
Anyway, so let's go ahead and introduce ourselves and talk real quick about your channel, what it's about. We'll start with you, Pete.
Hey guys, I'm Pete. I've got a new channel just launched 3 days ago on January the 1st called The Primal Timeline. My main focus is sharing my story of beating obesity and some addiction problems that I've had in the past as well, and some other health issues that I'm correcting with the carnivore diet. That's me.
All right. And what's that channel name?
The Primal Timeline.
Okay. At The Primal Timeline, guys. Make sure you guys like and subscribe all these content creators, please. Next, let's go with you, DC. I mean, people know you, but give a little bit, little backdrop in your channel.
Okay, for those who are new or don't know me, my channel is all about getting people back on a normal, healthy sort of lifestyle. You know, basically going back to as natural a way of eating as possible, getting healthy and off medications. You know, I've been through stage 4 blood cancer twice. I was diagnosed terminal, non-operable, a recurring type of blood cancer that would always be there apparently, and would always come back, and I would always need treatment. Now I'm on 0 medications, and getting healthier and healthier every month, and hopefully I try and bring as much of this information out to people as possible from great sources, and you can also track my story, and I'll keep track of my bloods and show people that you don't have to be sick, you don't have to be depressed, and you don't have to take it lying down. Okay, just keep going, keep moving forward, and get stronger as you go.
All right, John.
All right, channel Carnivore Backwoods. My channel is all based around living off grid, living in the backwoods of East Tennessee. You're out here in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains, pretty close to North Carolina, but not quite there. Actually, I would be in what they consider the state of Franklin. If you guys know what that is, we can have a conversation about that someday. But that's where I'm at. I'm in the state of Franklin. Anyways, my story is not as good as the rest of these guys, but I'm doing well. We started the diet back in March, and we've lost almost 85 pounds since then. I've been a little bit of a stall for the last month, but I expect that's going to start picking up here. I'm trying to get a little bit more active. Started a new job back in the end of October, and I went from getting 8,000 steps a day to getting 3,000 or 4,000 steps a day. So I think I need to get a little bit more active, and that'll probably help push my weight down. Other than that, I run a live every week, Sunday, 1 o'clock, Carnivore Roundtable. And Larry's been a guest on it multiple times, and is always appreciated. DC's been on it, and Pete, I look forward to having you on there one of these Sundays if it works out into your guys' schedule.
Yeah, that'd be great, John.
And I just love the carnivore life, and I love supporting other channels.
Excellent.
And of course, you guys know me, Carnivore Soldier. My name's Larry. What's that?
So I was just saying,
DC?
John, 85 pounds is good.
Yeah.
John's lost a lot.
I still got a ways to go, though. I want to lose at least another 40, if not 60 pounds.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm Carnivore Soldier. My name's Larry. I'm out of Gerald, Texas, which is north of Austin, but I just use Austin because no one knows where Gerald is. Gerald's kind of famous because he got hit by an F5 tornado in like 96, I think, and the town was destroyed. So, including all the cattle.
Okay.
So, anyway, I'm sporting a new look for 2024. If you like it, please drop a comment in. I am clean shaven like when I was a soldier. So I'm back to the way I was when I was a chief warrant officer. No more chin whiskers. I'm back to the clean shave. So today we're going to be talking about rededicating or getting started on this diet because there's a lot of people out there. So if you have questions and you want to ask experienced carnivores, we've all been doing it about the same amount of time. We've all been there from between March and April. Me, March, and April was Pete, I think, and the rest of us are March. So this is our first full year coming up, but we've all been doing it long enough to we're pretty skilled at being carnivores, I think, right now. We know our bodies pretty well. And so if you have questions, please dump them in with a QQQ in the front so we can find them really easily. Okay, guys. So let's start with, I don't look like James Hetfield from it. Oh, I do look like James Hetfield. I thought I looked like James Hetfield with the, no one just commented on that. I thought I looked like him when I had the chin whiskers, but I guess apparently I look like him even more now without them. So James Hetfield, you're a lucky guy if you look like me. That's all I got to say. All right, guys. So let's talk about what we did. What are our New Year's resolutions? Pete, I want to start with you. I know you launched a channel, so I'm sure it has something to do with that. But why don't you fill us in? What's your resolutions?
My main resolution is to stick with this diet ultimately. I'm not finding it difficult by any means. Now that the holiday period's over, I think those challenges have subsided. And the challenges didn't even come with being tempted by the food in front of me. It's more that sort of social conformity. You know, you go to gatherings and you're the guy that doesn't eat what everyone else is eating. You've got to navigate that, explain to people why you're doing it. You know, that can be a whole thing. But yeah, you're really focused on the diet. I've got goals to increase my muscle mass. I've started after losing 65 pounds. I'm sort of back to a physical baseline, I guess. So I'm trying to increase muscle mass and put on weight that way. And I'm also trying to grow my channel, which, as I mentioned before, was just launched. And I can, from doing one episode, I can already see what a great deal of work is involved in running a channel.
Yeah.
It's pretty overwhelming in many ways. I go back to full-time work next week. So my work's pretty flexible, so I can hopefully navigate that. But I've had a great response to my first video. I was pretty frank and open about my struggles in the past. It seems from some of the comments, people have connected with that in some way. I was really, really honest about a lot of stuff, which was kind of cathartic for me as well. And so that's really inspired me just to keep going, sharing my story, hopefully helping other people with similar problems overcome.
Great, man. That's excellent. Do you want to point out that Mike's Life, Mike is from the Great Britain. He's one of the UK carnivores, has a channel as well at Mike's Life, I believe it is. So check his channel out. Enjoy
Mike's vlogs.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And he's a former soldier too. He's a UK soldier. So
okay.
Really good dude. Anyway, so he's going to bed. Thanks for stopping by, Mike.
Good night, Mike.
Okay, DC,
Good night, Mike.
You've got any resolutions you have or goals that you set?
Yeah, goals. I mean, I always have goals, and they sort of pop up on a weekly basis these days. But my plan basically is to help as many people as possible by tracking my story and hopefully just giving some insight, you know, for what I've been doing. You know, 9.5 years, or going on 10 now, in remission from something that they said I wouldn't survive, you know, a couple of months worth. But, you know, just help as many people as I can wake up and see what's in our food, and try and make them realize that they are much stronger than they think they are as well. And that's something we've started this month. Actually, we've got a challenge going at the moment on my channel and Facebook. We've got a 200 push-up a day challenge going at the moment.
Right.
So there's a couple of lessons that, you know, people are going to be or are learning from that as well. So yeah, that's all. That's basically what I want to do. Just help as many people just see just what they can do on when they're eating the proper human diet, you know. And
that's great. Thanks, DC. And just to point out, another YouTuber just popped in, Thomas Hughes. He's down in Mexico. He's a veteran as well, Coast Guard, U.S. veteran, and he teaches English as a second language, I believe, down there. Anyway, with his family. So he's a carnivore. He's got a channel as well. So check his channel out. Cool. Thomas, I forget what your channel name is. I think it might be Thomas Hughes, but just pop it in so I can throw it up for you. Okay, so let's go with your New Year's resolution, carnivore backwoods.
I don't know if I have any New Year's resolutions to speak of. I'm not one to make, I got plans. I'm working on real estate and doing some real estate investments and stuff. So that's a big focus of mine. And channel wise, just keep on growing it. I'm working with JT over at the Poco Moonshine, and we got a little group together that we have private coaching with some people, and so that's a part of my goal for the year is to help as many people out as I can. But no, I mean I thought about making a video, getting everybody's videos of them out there doing push-ups and sit-ups and fasting and all these things that everybody's doing for Carnivore Month, and doing my challenges. I wasn't going to accept any challenges this month, but no, I didn't really come up with any New Year's resolutions to speak of.
Okay, just want to point out another guy, Eric Carnivore RN is here, and he's a veteran, retired or veteran nurse, and now he's working for an Army nurse, and now he was an LPN, and now he's a nurse at the VA. He's a good buddy of mine, and I interviewed him on my podcast and Mission Carnivore YouTube channel. So check that out if you haven't. He's a great dude. Thanks for stopping by, Eric. I have some goals. So I don't, just like raw PR Willie, I can't, something Primal Mike. Okay. Primal Mike. Anyway, I don't really set resolutions. So I actually started mine earlier. I started lifting 3 weeks before the New Year's, and I started sprinting 2 weeks before the New Year's. Now I've implemented 8,000 steps a day and Lion on New Year's. So I've kind of ramped up to it. So I'm doing Lion diet, 8,000 steps a day for this month, and my new lifting routine, which has been fantastic. I feel like I'm in college again. And as far as my channel, New Year's Eve, I hit 6,000 subscribers. It was awesome. I want to grow the channel to 25,000 by the end of the year. And I want to reach out to a ton of veterans. And I'm really just want to, make a big impact in the veteran community, which I'm doing. I'm actually meeting veterans all the time. In fact, I got a story. This is great. A guy contacted me an email. He's like, "Hey, I listened to your podcast. How do I get started?" And I said, "Well, just look at my videos." He goes, "Oh, you have a YouTube channel?" And he'd never heard of me on YouTube. It was just through podcasts that he heard about me. He was a Navy chaplain on an aircraft carrier. I'm like, that is amazing. That's the first time it's ever happened. And so I was able to turn him on to my videos. And because he's a chaplain, he may be listening now, but I am going to interview him next month. And because he's a chaplain, it's a great position to be, because a lot of people come to him with problems, whether it's physical or spiritual or emotional. And he will have this tool in his toolbox. Being a practicing carnivore, which he's already had started. So really encouraging and exciting stuff for me. That's where I want to be. That's my wheelhouse, is veterans and first responders. So, all right. Let's see. I don't see any questions yet. Let me go to the next thing. Let's talk about new people that are coming in, because there's probably some new people watching us, or they'll be watching this video, about how to get started because they maybe made that resolution. This is their third day in. What kind of advice would you give someone on their third day in? Just if you had like two most important things maybe to consider in your diet, or not to do, or to do. How about that? And Pete, you can start with this.
I've been thinking about this. Yeah. The first thing I reckon is to go easy on yourself. If you're 3 days in, and you've been used to eating a certain way for pretty much all your life, this is going to be a bit of a contrast. It's going to be a fairly big step to take. So, if you have a little slip up, if you drink a soda, or you have a drink of alcohol that you don't want to have, or you eat some vegetables or whatever, don't beat yourself up. Just sort of strike it and move on. Try and stick to whole foods as much as possible, but just ease yourself in. Don't be hard on yourself. Just there's no rush. It doesn't have to happen overnight. I think if that's helpful to anyone, that'd be one of my tips.
Okay, so be easy on yourself. Don't crucify yourself if you mess up. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Long term, it'll work out for you.
All right.
Yeah.
DC, what do you got?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Don't beat yourself up too much. It is, I think, when you first start it, if you're going straight from a standard Western diet, it can be a little bit daunting. And a lot of people, it might be good to wean yourself onto it as well, because you are going to have a lot of withdrawal symptoms because of the crap that is in our standard diet, or the standard Western diet. Even if you are strict on the dietary food guidelines and are eating what you think is healthy, you will have withdrawal symptoms, and you will have you might have a few aches and pains to start with, and headaches, like especially when you're giving up coffee and things like that. So if you need to wean yourself onto it, then just do it. If you are strong enough that you can just go cold turkey, then that's all good too. But you are going to have an adjustment period, so don't be too hard on yourself when you don't see immediate changes. And I know it's very easy to get or to discount it when you see a lot of clickbait out there saying I lost this much weight in 10 days, sort of garbage. It's not going to happen that fast for people. It's not going to happen as quick for some people as it is for others either. So don't gauge yourself on what other people are doing. Just stick to your plan, and you're going to need to find what works for you. Even if you get together all the best information you can, they can only take you so far. At the end of the day, you have to experiment what works for you, how much fat you're going to need, how much you can tolerate eating per day, so to speak, and your activity levels. That's all going to take time. So don't expect a life-changing sort of diet in just 30 days, for example. It takes time. So and that's what it's all about. It's about consistency over time. Don't, like people are saying, if you do fall off the wagon, it's not a big deal. Just jump back on tomorrow and keep going. It's if you are consistent over time, over say a year, rather than like you might have a day or two here and there that you might fall off the wagon, that's not going to make a difference really. So just stick with it.
Yeah, I think one thing you keyed on a life is, it's not 30 days is not a life-changing event, but this diet is the only diet I've ever been on that is a life-changing event when you do it long enough.
That's
right. I mean, and when I talk about this in my other talks, is like some things that are life-changing, right? An event that's life-changing is having your first child, getting married, your identity change, something that changes your identity, graduating from a military school and becoming a soldier or a sailor or an airman. These are things that are life-changing because your identity actually changes. And actually this is so dramatic. I mean, it is completely life-changing when you embrace it for like over 100 days. I think when you go 100 days, you are a carnivore at that point. That's your identity. Yeah. So really, that's a big deal. All right, John, what you got, man?
So I think that the best advice I could give anybody is start. Just do it. Get on the diet, start doing it, get off the sugar, get off the carbohydrates, get off the fake fats, do it. And then, once you're doing it, you're going to start feeling better, and you're going to have the weight loss, and that's going to be great. But then you're going to need to sit down and you're going to need to think about your why, because your why has to get bigger. because whatever your why was for starting, it wasn't big enough. And, unless you were, unless you're on the deathbed right now, your why is probably not big enough for starting this diet. So you're gonna have to get your why right. And that's might be a new shirt. Get your why right. But
Dude, you're stealing my thunder, bro. But it's okay. Roll on. I
Okay,
got some other stuff I can pull out.
hey, you stole my thunder last Sunday. I get to steal yours. It's all good. Get your why right. Figure out what your why is. Why are you doing this? Because the how is easy once the why is hard, or once the why is right. The how is easy, And so figure out what your why is. Originally when I first started the diet, I was like, well, I want to lose a few pounds. I want to see what this diet's about. That wasn't much of a why, But once I realized the health benefits of it, and I started watching my blood pressure, come down, and I started realizing I wasn't going to be diabetic anymore, and a bunch of my health conditions started reverting, and my energy level went up. Suddenly, my why became my health, and now I don't even care if I lose another pound. The why is everything. The health is everything. Being here for my family, being able to function and to get back into the action and doing several tasks at once. Those are my most important things. So that became my why. And so that's anybody that's starting off the diet, get started on it, but understand you're going to have to develop your why, and you need to make it solid. Otherwise, you're going to struggle. So there's my point. I'll leave it over to the Carnivore Soldier. He can wrap that up.
Yeah. So I can put a bow on it and give you the bottom line up front. So yeah, the why is the most important thing. And I'm going to do a video on Squid Game. Most of us during Carnivore or during the last pandemic watched Squid Game because it came out and there was nothing else to do. So Squid Game is a fantastic futuristic show, kind of where people that are on their last dime and owe money and lots of high debts, they get a chance to go play a game to make a lot of money, and then they don't realize when they're getting into this game that if they lose the game, they get killed. So the first game they go into, they all accept it because they're all in dire straits. They got money collectors coming after them, so they go in and they play the first game, and half of them get killed, and then the other half are like, "Oh hell no, I'm not signing up for this." And so they had a why to get there, but not a why to finish the job, right? So they all go back to their lives, and all of them, pretty much like 99% of them, find out their why gets stronger. Like the main character, his mom, not only did debt collectors coming after him, but now his mom has diabetes and needs surgery, and he has no money because he canceled their health insurance. So his why got big. His why got so big that he'd go risk his life to try to win this money, knowing the risk, right? So that's why when you educate yourself in this diet, you're gonna evolve your why like he did. You're gonna find out the benefits, and you're also gonna find out the danger you're in eating that diet. And that should give you a why. I mean, DC is a cancer survivor. If you're eating this diet correctly, you're not making very much glutamine, and you're not eating any carbohydrates or sugars. So you're really not going to be able to feed cancer. It really makes you much more invulnerable to cancer, resistant to cancer. Sure. And if you do have cancer, it can actually stop it or even, shrink down. And like DC, your tumors went away on this, right? On this diet, they're gone. So I mean, and he's not the only one. There's other people that have lost their tumors just go away, not shrink. They shrink and then go away. So I mean, just saying, if you need a why, make it a big one like that. Like, hey, listen. I grew up at my age at 56. Before every day in the back of my mind, I was worried that one day I was going to get cancer, colon cancer, colorectal cancer, or something, or one day I was going to get Alzheimer's like my mom did. So that was a big why. Once I educated myself and found out this is actually, a good treatment for that, or self treatment to protect yourself from those things. And so I think that's part of developing that why is getting your education up. And then one other thing I would say is beyond getting that why and educating yourself, continuing your education to learn how these things work. I mean, learning that cancer is a metabolic disease, not a genetic disease, that kind of stuff. That's important that you understand why. So it gives you that confidence in this diet that you will trust it, that that candy bar is not worth getting cancer, right? So you're not going to do it. That's just the way it is. And then the other thing is don't plan cheat days. If you fall off the horse, that's one thing. If you go to a Christmas party and you eat a cookie or some cake or grandma's apple pie, okay, that's one thing. Get back on and drive on like you did, get on that horse and ride like no one saw you fall off. But when you plan a cheat day, and I know DC hates the word cheat, but I'm just using it because that's what everyone calls it. Because everyone has done these diets, these dang diets, and none of them changed your life, right? No diet ever changed your life before this. I guarantee you. No diet ever was sustainable or worked before this. They work temporarily, but they're not sustainable. This is the only way that's a way of life that's sustainable. So when you do that, you're planning for failure. And I don't plan for failure. You know, I make plans and I proceed as though success is inevitable. And that's the way you need to be. You need to make a plan, and no part of that plan should be a day to fail. That's, you know, that is not what we do in the Army. You don't say, hey, why did you fail, Chief? Well, it was in the calendar that we were going to fail today, so we failed, right? No, that's not the way it works. You plan, and then if you fall off, you go back and assess why you fell off, assess what conditions were like, what your mental state was like, what your physiological state was. Maybe you didn't eat burgers before you went out to that event. And if you would have ate 3 burgers before you went out to that event, you wouldn't have been tempted. So these are things you can do. So build a plan and work on your why, and don't plan to fail. That's what I got.
Yeah, I think I should add, when I said at the start, go easy on yourself. Don't go easy on yourself if you have a planned cheat day. Go easy on yourself. Like you say, if you fall off the wagon and it's a slip up, don't beat yourself up. But don't plan on cheat days and let yourself off the hook. It doesn't work like that.
There's no such thing as cheat days. There's permission to fail days. That's what what you've done, is you're giving yourself permission to fail. You look at these kids in these video games they got out, and they all come with cheat codes. Well, when you play the game and it's fun and you're not using the cheat codes, you'll keep on playing it. But once you start using the cheat codes, then it becomes permission to do it, and you just keep on doing it. You don't ever want to play the game right. So there's no cheat days on Carnivore. You're either doing it or you're giving yourself permission to fail.
Yeah, you'll never gain the skills in those games required to be good at them if you're using cheat codes. And just like Carnivore, you'll never gain the skills of being a good carnivore unless you do it. It does take some skill, but it's super easy to do.
Get the meaning wrong as well. Sorry,
I know you're dying about this.
They get the meaning of it wrong. Like you're talking about cheat codes, like in the game. The cheat codes get you to the end of the game quicker. So you get to your goal faster. The problem is these are not cheat foods; they are setback foods. They're holding you back from your goals. You understand? So it's not like okay, I had a piece of cake there, so I'm going to have I'm going to have a bit of a cheat day sort of thing. It's not getting you to your goal. It is setting you back. It is holding you back. So these are setback foods. They're not cheat food.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. People need to change their mindset. They need to change the way they think about food.
Yeah, well, your relationship with food will definitely change on this diet. And here's another thing. None of us are doctors here. We're not giving medical advice. We're giving our opinion and our experience. Just so you guys
I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night.
What's that?
I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night.
Yeah, you did stay at a Holiday Inn. All right, we got a question from Missy. I heard Dr. Berry say that gristle, cartilage, tendons, etc., but wonder if my stomach can even break those parts down and absorb the nutrients. I would say 100% it could, because we have an obligate scavenger / carnivore pH in our stomach between 1.5 and 2, I believe, and that is super acidic. So on the we can basically break down just about anything in our stomach. And if you have concerns or problems, you can always crock pot it and break.
Well, meat wise, anyway,
or Instapot. Let's see. And then she added this, or am I better off saving those parts for bone broth? I mean, bone broth to me is mostly the marrow that you're getting out of there and some of the tissues, but she has absorption issues because of lupus. What do you guys think? I mean, I'm not a doctor. You might want to ask a doctor about that, but maybe Dr. Chafee. He does answer a lot of emails. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Well, I think your stomach can definitely break those parts down, and when they break down, you're going to absorb, because they are solids, that you will break it down. They will be absorbed into lymphatic system, into the lymph fluid and stuff. When you have like rendered fats and things like that, too much rendered fat, it pretty much just goes straight through you. So it's not actually, you don't actually absorb as much. So when you have a lot of rendered fat, for example, you get diarrhea and you go into the toilet a lot. But if you eat non-rendered fats like tallow and butter and things like solids, and those parts of the meat you actually get a lot of collagen from. So these things, they take a bit more to break down, and the body will break it down in the stomach, and then it will go into the digestive tract and into your lymphatics. Okay, so I don't think there'd be any problem eating that at all. But if you want to make bone broth and stuff like that too, that's all good too. But you will find that there's a lot of rendered fat in bone broth that will, as long as you have it in small doses, I don't think you have any trouble. But if you have large doses, then it's going to, you're going to get diarrhea, and it'll sort of go straight through you.
I mean, you put meat in a crock pot for 8 hours on low, and it's going to break that stuff down. That's what I do. I make a pot roast out of it, and that makes the toughest meat and connective tissues and everything down and make it easy to digest. What do you think, John? You got a question? You got something to add?
I say that if I can't chew it, it becomes dog food. But for the most part, I'll eat. I don't have no problem eating fat. But if it's gristle and it's hard, and I'm not dealing with that. I'll feed it to the dog. Dog probably won't even chew it either. He'll probably just swallow it. But do you remember that we eat a lot of hamburger on this diet, and hamburger is ground up fat and gristle and all that stuff. So you're getting some of it in your diet no matter what. I don't, like I said, I'm not gonna sweat over one little piece of gristle that I can't chew. For the most part, unless I get a cheaper steak, I don't even get that. But the ribeyes never have that type of gristle. At least the ones that I've been getting. If you could save that stuff, and you could definitely put it in your bone broth. It's just going to render out. So the fat out is going to render out, and it's going to become part of the bone broth. And then what I do is ladle off the fat, so that I don't have a large amount of fat in the bone broth. And then I use that fat for cooking. I mean, that's great tallow. You throw a little bit of that on the grill before cooking your steak or something, you're going to have an amazing steak. That's my thoughts.
Pete, got anything to add?
I'm pretty big on the cartilage and gristle. I'll give it a good go, and I'll chew it up and do my very best to get it down. I really have upped my collagen intake intentionally the last few months, and my nails and skin are the best they've ever been. I used to have really brittle nails, really thin, flimsy nails. They're rock solid now. And anytime I get a scar or anything on my face, it just heals up within a day or two. So I'm all for the collagen.
And I think you can do collagen peptides too, right?
Yeah.
Collagen.
The collagen's great for your bone health too, because your bones are mostly collagen. They're mostly made up of collagen. To have flexible, strong bones, you need collagen. Right? There's a small amount of calcium, but that's a bit. But mostly what you're absorbing into the bones is collagen. So get as much in as you can, and your bones, you'll have great bone health throughout your older years as well. So it's got nothing to do with the dairy. Plus, you get a lot of K2. Vitamin K2. A lot of that is actually in that connective tissue. That it's not just the meat itself; and the fats. A lot of that those hard collagen gristly bits is rich in K2, right? Which is great for bone development.
Right.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right, we got another one. It looks like my dad is a vet. Looks like 34 Oscar, I think that is. Or is that a Q? I can't tell. Is it O or Q? Anyway.
That's Oscar, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get him to try it, but he's resistant. Is there a good video to send him to? I would go to Dr. Chafee's YouTube channel and find the interview with me, where Dr. Chafee's interview me. I have a copy of it on my channel, but his edit is better, especially for vets, because it starts talking about vet stuff right away. So I would go to Dr. Chafee's. If anyone here watching has a veteran friend that they want to get this to, go to Dr. Chafee's website, his YouTube channel, and find the interview with me. It was released last month, and send them that video, because I do talk about the mental health issues that all veterans and first responders go through. So if they're a first responder or a veteran, send them that video. That'll help, and it'll introduce the carnivore diet, and I talk about my results, and he talks about a lot of the physiological stuff. And he's a doctor. He's a brain surgeon. He's brilliant. So it's really good. We get into some great stuff. But we do talk about veteran suicide and all these things. and first responder suicide and what we go through. So definitely do that. And by the way, you can tell him to reach out to me directly, carnivoresoldier@gmail.com, or you can, if you want to chat on the side, carnivoresoldier@gmail.com. All right. Let's see what else we got. DC has helped me push through my unstable fused spine pain, broken metalware, 200 beginner push-ups a day. Hey, there you go.
Yeah,
Way to go,
excellent.
DC.
Doing great.
It's fantastic when you get feedback like that. It makes you feel like you're really I mean, that makes my day. When I wake up in the morning, I get emails from veterans and such, and first responders getting to me. All right, here's a veteran, Fred. 1 year carnivore on proper weight numbers, currently in the middle of 12 weeks chemo. My mission, not to get sick and get clearance for my bone marrow transfer. Want to be cancer-free by end of April. So, man, hey, Fred, I would also reach out to DC directly if you want to talk cancer stuff, because he has been through it all and he knows a lot. He's educated on it really well. So not a doctor, but he's got some good experience and some good info.
Yeah, well, I know what it feels like. Doctors don't.
Exactly. That's the difference, right? It's almost better if you got someone that's actually been through it. So from the receiving point, do any of you guys drink soda on your plan? Let's start with
Definitely not. Absolutely
No,
not.
Definitely not. Definitely not. I mean, part of the reason I'm on this plan is because of pretty severe gut issues. I get perianal abscess really easily, IBS symptoms. So I think that those sweeteners in there, whether it's aspartame or erythritol or stevia glycols or whatever those extracts are, they really flare up my issues. So straight away, I'm not going near those things. I do drink sparkling water. I don't know if that's good or not. That's the only carbonation I have in my life.
Yeah,
But no, I would steer clear of the diet sodas. I think you probably, this is a terrible thing to say, I think sugar's probably better for you than diet soda.
It might be.
So,
sugar's pretty freaking bad, but it might be.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So,
well,
so your body doesn't know the difference between what you put in your mouth. If it's sweet, your insulin's gonna spike.
yeah.
Your insulin spikes. You're not losing weight. You're not gonna be fit. You're not gonna be in ketosis. You can eat all the meat and the fat you want. If you're drinking something that's got sweetness to it, it's gonna keep you out of ketosis, and you're not gonna lose weight. Your insulin levels are gonna spike, and that's why you get insulin resistance. So yeah, you got to stay away from any type of sweetener, and you definitely want to stay away from the sodas. I mean, some of the worst chemicals in the world are put in Diet Coke. So yeah, no, none of us are drinking it. I drink water. I drink unsweetened tea, and I drink my coffee with heavy whipping cream.
Yeah. Diet are actually worse than the regular soda drink. They are not only full of, they're not only sweeteners, these things like aspartame and all the rest of them, and other sweeteners, they're all carcinogenics. Okay. And it's proven. Actually, just yesterday I posted an article on that. That these sweeteners are indeed carcinogenics and have a much higher risk of causing cancer and other diseases if you drink. And of course, dosage is important, but any dose is going to be another risk. But yeah, like John said, it also spikes your insulin and will stop you from losing weight. Now, the difference when it comes to insulin, for bodybuilders, for example, they intentionally spike the insulin because when you do spike insulin, it also forces protein into the muscle cells to help them grow. But the problem is if you're doing this over and over and over again, like most people are eating, grazing on this stuff all day long, you also build insulin resistance. Okay. And that leads to diabetes and other, inflammation and all sorts of other problems. So it's not worth even, I wouldn't drink one in a year. That's not, why would you increase that risk? Like straight mineral, like soda water is fine. There's no sweeteners, no sugars or anything like that in it. Carbon is a wonderful thing. You know, we are made of carbon, and CO2 is one of the building blocks for life. So that's not a problem. So if you need something to help you get off these diet soda drinks and to help you quit, just go into sparkling water. And that will help. Even if you put a bit of lemon juice in them with it or something for a bit of flavor, it's going to be a lot healthier.
Yep. And my big drink was Diet Coke and Coke Zero forever. I mean, when I went to a movie, I always had a large Diet Coke and a large popcorn at every movie. And now I drink water and I don't eat anything and I feel totally fine. I felt naked when I first went there, though, I'd be honest. It was a weird feeling. But it's my new normal. I don't go to movies a lot, but when I go, I just feel totally comfortable with a bottle of water. And that's what I do. And again, the insulin spike. So, what we're fighting is metabolic disease, and insulin is the problem, right? So you want to minimize. The whole name of the game is to limit your insulin spikes and limit the frequency of them. You don't want to snack all day long. You want to limit your frequency of insulin spikes and also limit the size of them by eating meats, fatty meats, and then you get satiated, so you don't have to snack. When you're on a standard. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're going to spike insulin to a certain point, but you want to keep it as limited as possible. And it's not sugar itself is not a carcinogenic, right? Sugar itself doesn't cause cancer. It causes obesity and it causes other things. But basically, that's the addiction causer. You get addicted to sweet things. You get addicted to sugar. But the problem is everything that's got sugar in it, or these days, or all these other foods, or these sweeteners that they put into to bring the addiction onto you, are full of these oils. These fake fats and machine oils that they want you to eat. They're the carcinogenics. The sugar just makes you addicted to them.
Yeah, and it is an addiction game. That's why everything in our diet now is sweetened. That's right. Just about anything. I mean, beef jerky, sodas, everything sweet. We never had, ancestral man did not eat sweet stuff all the time. Rarely, very rarely would they get sweet. And
it's a seasonal thing.
Spring. The fruit wasn't like it is now. The fruit now has orders of magnitude of greater amounts of fructose in it than the natural fruits did. So even if it was there, it wasn't as sweet and it wasn't as abundant. And it wasn't all the time, every day. An apple a day does not keep the doctor away. An apple a day destroys your metabolism and you get metabolic illness. That's what an apple a day does. So definitely a total lie. Scam.
Of course, with all the fruit and vegetables that you eat now that are farmed at a cellular level are full of pesticides.
Yeah.
So, it's not something that, ancient man had to deal with. And very, very few cultures actually even ate fruit and vegetable, even in a seasonal sort of period, like Europeans did, because when we had spring, we'd have fruit trees and stuff like that grow like that. But if you look at people who live in the Arctic and like the Inuit and cold places where nothing grows, all they ate is fat. All their vitamins and minerals came from fat. And they never had a deficiency. They never had any disease. They never had any like we do now. They don't have any vitamin D deficiencies, even though they're completely covered up and get no sunlight.
Yeah.
They get the vitamin D from the fat and the K2, and they were perfectly developed. Some of the biggest races in our history, like some of the American Indian tribes who grow over 7 foot. All right. They never had to supplement their food or anything like that. All they ate was bison.
Yep. Okay. I've got a question from Carnivore Christina. Lame question. Not really. There's no such thing as a lame question because other people will probably have this question too. I'm having a hard time chewing the hard gristle fat on a steak. Instead, I'm eating a lot of Kerrygold with it. Does chewing fat get easier? Well, if it's hard, you don't have to chew it. You can just put it aside, throw it in a crock pot, and break it down later, or make a bone. You can throw it in bone broth. If it's soft fat, what a lot of people have a problem with the texture when they first start on this. So what I recommend is cutting a medium-sized piece of meat and a small slice of the fat and pairing them. And it's easier at first. After a while, you'll grow to appreciate the taste and the texture of the fat, I think. Or you can just do ground beef. You don't have to do steaks. I think steaks have a higher quality of fat on them because of where the cut is. And the ground beef is just all the fat that whatever's left over. So it's not going to be as high a quality. So steaks are a little better quality on fat. But, you can definitely do this as some people have just on burger patties. What do you think, Pete? What do you got?
So actually, funnily enough, yesterday, so I've got 4 sons, and 3 of them at least have really shown interest in this way of eating. My 20-year-old had a steak for breakfast, and my 15 and 13-year-old had a steak for lunch yesterday, which is really encouraging. My 13-year-old, he has a bit of trouble with the fat, so exactly what you just said, Larry. Cut a nice bit of the protein, a little bit of the fat, eat them together, makes it much more palatable for a beginner. But when you get to the point like me, I'll just cut off the whole strip of fat and chew that up with a bit of salt. I love it. But yeah, I think proportioning your fat and protein to begin with is a good idea. That helps a lot.
Yeah. If you get gristle though, like that, like some of the cheaper meats, like strip loin and things like that, they'll have really tough gristle. Try if you can't chew it, just try cutting it up into small enough pieces that you can just swallow it.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, because your stomach will take care of it.
Yeah,
for sure. The acid will just break it down. What do you think, John?
Yeah. I agree. Just cut it up small as you can, and like I said, if it comes really down to it, the dog's always happy if I give him a piece. So, and when it comes to Kerrygold, I put butter on all my steaks now. I find that I need more fat in my diet, so I'm putting 4 or 5 tablespoons of butter even on a ribeye. So, the Kerrygold's good for you. There's some good stuff in there. I wouldn't have an issue with that. But when it comes to eating the gristle and the fat, I love fat, so that's not a problem. But if it gets overly chewy, I'll probably make the dog happy. But that's just me.
And I'm big on the butter too, but last time I did Lion Diet, which was about 3 months into my carnivore experience, I did Lion for 30 days. And the only thing I did that wasn't really Lion was I had butter to all my meat. Butter, salt, and water is what I had. And then 2 days, I think I had eggs and bacon. So I kind of broke down and broke the rules. A couple days to have breakfast with my son. This time around, I got a tip from Dante Fregno that he bought some Wagyu tallow in a jug. And so I bought this big old jar of Wagyu tallow, and I'm melting that instead of butter on my steaks and my burgers. So this time I'm going pure Lion Diet. No, there will be no eggs and bacon. I am just drinking the water. And I tell you, going from carnivore to Lion is so simple. It is so easy. It's not a struggle. There's no like tempting. It's not like, oh my gosh, I'm jonesing for bacon or anything like that. It's not like that, because you're eating till you're satiated, right? You're eating till you're full. And that's the thing.
I prefer Lion.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Well, and that's the thing. The last time I came off Lion, I didn't want chicken anymore at all, ever. And I have not had chicken since then once, not even once.
So using Wagyu tallow, Larry, does that make all your steaks taste like a Wagyu?
It gives it a hint. I melt it. So I get that Wagyu tallow and I melt it on top, and you get a little bit of that Wagyu flavor on a regular steak. Because I don't buy Wagyu steaks because they're just ridiculous, $100 steaks.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I get a $14 steak and melt Wagyu on it, and even the burgers. Yeah. So it's legit. So there's a
melting any beef fat though and put it back over your steak is great.
Yeah.
And cooking any. I love cooking in bacon fat too, though. Like
I do too.
Yeah,
but it's better than butter. I think it's a better source of fat than butter. Butter's great. Butter's really good. It's got a lot of good stuff, but I think
butter's great cold. Butter's great cold.
Low smoke point though.
When it's hot and cooked, I much prefer beef fat. But the best steak I have eaten is when I was in Japan, and they give you the tallow, like a cube of tallow, to cook the steak in with every pack. That was wonderful. It was like, deep fried. It was just.
Yeah, I saw your video on that. It was great. It's like the meat's packed in a package, a cellophane like ours, but it's got a big chunk of tallow sitting there.
Yeah.
So you can fry it in it. How cool is that?
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's like when we get sushi, they put the wasabi in there with it. It's just like that. It's just like having it included in your meal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so that's that question. So we got another one here. I'm looking for questions, guys. Oh, you like DC Backwoods and Soldier, but don't recognize your fellow carnivore. Mama
Me.
Cracker has Pete. That
Hey,
is
Mama
Pete.
Cracker. We have spoken. We've spoken on all guys' streams.
Yeah.
I
And you can
recognize
see
your name.
Pete is the Primal Timeline at the Primal Timeline. He launched his channel January 1st. So it's only a couple days old. So everyone rush over there, like and subscribe, check out his stuff. He is a video editor by trade. So his videos will make ours look like really amateurish like they are, because we're just talking and stuff. We're not doing fancy stuff. He's fancy. So if y'all like fancy stuff, check it out. It's entertaining. All right. Let's see.
It's like watching a movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's like. It's like watching a movie. Okay,
I'm
let's
doing my
ask.
best.
What books are you guys gonna or planning to read this year, or in the process of reading? You guys got any books that you're looking at, or thinking about reading, or picking up?
Yeah, I like.
I'm halfway through. Sorry, it's DC. I'm
You're
halfway
right,
through.
yeah.
You guys know Mitch, the old guy Carnivore?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote a really great book 20 years ago in 2002 called Taming the Beast Within.
Really?
So how you're and the beast within is your subconscious, and how your subconscious can overrule your conscious mind, and it's super helpful. It really connects to this way of life, and you can download it as a PDF from his YouTube channel. So that's what I'm currently reading. I'm halfway through that, and it's fantastic.
That's cool.
I'm a big Mitch fan. There you
That's
go.
something we all have to wrestle with every day. It's when we get up, from the time you wake up, there's always that inner voice that telling you, always wants you to be lazy, or to take that junk food, or to just stop. You always have to wrestle with that inner voice.
Yeah, and
That's
it's a
what I was
really
saying the
strong
other
voice
day.
too.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It can be a real struggle.
It's been good.
Yeah.
All right. DC, what books are you looking at?
Actually, I'm in between books at the moment. One of my favorite, a couple of my favorite books actually is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's one of my favorites. It's not about being rich; it's just about finding yourself, really. Einstein by Walter Isaacson. I love that book, and it only took me a couple of days to get through it. Actually, I just couldn't stop reading it.
I'll have to check that out. I think Einstein's fascinating.
Absolutely, you should. That's a really good book. Actually, I'll keep it here on my desk. I'll show you. It's this one here.
Cool.
If you can see that, by Walter Isaacson. This is brilliant. Actually, really brilliant book. Apart from that, at the moment, I'm kind of in between. I'm still writing mine, and I'm trying to get that edited now so that I can get that out. So I'm sort of focused on that one, actually.
Nice.
We got a question to come in from Bianca C. How do you determine how much to eat in the beginning? For context, I don't really ever feel I'm satiated or notice my hunger cues. Trying to understand before I start. So she hasn't started yet. And let me tell you real quick, if you've been you're on the standard American diet right now, or standard European diet, whatever you're on, your hunger signals are completely broken, and it's by design. Yep. They've designed the foods to make them addictive and never satiate you. So you have to keep eating and snacking all day. So let me guess, you snack between 6 and 10 times a day, and you eat until you're stuffed, not pleasantly full, but stuffed sometimes, and you get bloated. That's because you're eating this diet. So guys, what are some things about how to determine how much someone should eat on this diet? What do you guys think? Anyone want to start? Go ahead.
Okay.
There you go.
It's the difference between carnivore and the standard diet is it's very difficult to overeat on when you're just eating meat, okay, and eggs. When it comes to carnivore, just eat until you are full. Make sure that you get a lot of fat, be it from butter, beef fat, eggs, whatever, and that will satiate you very easily. So it's not like being on the standard Western diet where you're hungry again in an hour. because you are eating a solid food, a real food full of nutrients, the most nutrient rich food there is for us, which is what a lot of people don't understand too. If you're coming from the standard Western diet, you think that your body is craving calories, but it's not. That's why you're always hungry, because you're not getting nutrients. Okay, your body craves nutrients. So even though you've had a big meal and you're hungry again in half an hour or so, or an hour, the reason is because you haven't given your body the nutrients that it needs to feed and to maintain your body. Whereas on the carnivore diet, you are giving your body those nutrients. So you're not going to have those same hunger issues that you do on the standard Western diet. Okay. So eat until you are full, eat a lot of fat, a lot of salt, and you will be satisfied. I guarantee you will be satisfied. You won't be hungry again the rest of the day.
I've never been hungry on this diet where I didn't eat. And I'm talking about hunger, like physical hunger pain. Never had it, which is the only diet I've ever been on where I was never hungry.
And if you do get hungry, just eat more steak.
Yep. Who else wants to add in?
Oh, I'd say in the beginning. Yeah, sorry, you go, John.
Go ahead, John.
I would just say this. So if you want to know what a satiated feels like, get 2 steaks, cook them up. By the time you get through the first steak, you're probably going to start feeling it. You're going to be like, I'm kind of full, and I'm not really. This doesn't really taste as good as it did at the first bite. You start working on the second steak, and when you start working in that second steak, with each bite, it's going to become more and more apparent to you that you're full, and you'll know the difference. It's not an experience that you can get from eating ice cream. It's not an experience you can get from eating, cake or getting, not even the feeling you can get from eating vegetables. Most of the time you don't want to eat vegetables anyways, but if you really want to know what a satiated feels like and kind of give yourself a picture, you got to eat till you, like Dr. Berry says, eat till you're full. And when you try to eat past that, every bite's going to become a struggle, and your body's going to be like, hey, I don't want no more in here.
Yep.
Am I wrong? I mean, that's what it comes down to. You'll learn it really quickly.
Yeah. A lot of people are worried about too many calories as well. You don't have to worry about that at all. Okay.
Calories is a man-made term. It doesn't really exist.
That's right. Calories are a form of energy. Okay. And we don't thrive on energy. We thrive on nutrients. Okay. You fill your car up with calories. Okay. And you go for a long drive, but your body is different. We are not internal combustion engines. We thrive on nutrients. So you can eat as much real food as possible as you want. You are still going to lose weight.
Okay, Pete, what do you got to add?
Just in agreement with John. When I first started off this diet, I'd never actually experienced such satiation. So I think I actually ate less to begin with. A nice big steak filled me up pretty quickly, and so I was really, to begin with, 1 meal a day. And I think as I've sort of got used to that, maybe increased my physical output, I'm now on 2 meals a day. Yeah. But definitely, it's a whole new experience.
Yeah, undereating can be a real thing in this diet because you're not hungry all the time. But the other thing is people mix up hunger and emotional snacking, right? There's a difference. When your hunger pains go away, you'll still have I'm bored sitting at the desk. I want to grab something and put it in my mouth. That's emotional snacking. You'll have to learn how to break that. The way I broke it was I made a pound of bacon every day, really crispy, threw it in a Ziploc bag and kept it with me or in the fridge so I could go snack on that. So I had an alternate snack. So substitution works for that. That breaks the emotional snacking. I don't snack like that at all anymore. I haven't made a pound of bacon in months, but the first 3 months I did. I had a pound of bacon in the fridge all the time, fried up. And so that's your tip on that. So emotional snacking is a big deal. Satiation, when you eat, you're going to get so satiated that you don't get stuffed, like you have to unbutton your button and unbutton your belt. That never happens. You don't get bloated. You just get to a point where you just don't want to eat anymore. You're not interested in the food. It's just like a lion in the field. Lions will kill a zebra or an antelope, and they will eat much of it, but not all of it. They don't eat every piece of meat on there. In fact, the hyenas come in after that, and the other animals will come in and eat off them. Mm-hmm. So they eat until they're full, and then they move on. They don't finish the plate, right? So that's the way we have to learn how to eat. Your hunger signals will be repaired on this way of eating And when they are, you
Mhm.
have to learn how to trust them. And they are much more nuanced and subtle too. They're not quite as strong as the addictive ones that we get, because we got these bioengineered foods with bliss points that make you come back every 2 or 3 hours hungry. And if you want to see this in action, go watch Fat Fiction, the documentary. It's free on Amazon. I'm sorry, it's free on Tubi, and it's free on YouTube. And there's links to it on my website, on my YouTube channel. If you go to my channel, I do reviews of movies and documentaries, carnivore movie reviews. And there's one on Fat Fiction that has links to the movies. You can go watch it for free and watch what I think about it. But they do show that people get on these 2 different diets, the same people. First, they put them on a carnivore, or not a carnivore, a ketogenic diet, which carnivore is a ketogenic diet, but they put them on a high-fat diet, and they're very satiated. They only eat a couple times a day. And then they put them on the standard American diet, which is the food pyramid, and they are craving all day long. They're hangry. You know, they're experiencing everything we experience. And they think they're eating healthy because they're eating like yogurt and cereal and all things that would told us that we need to eat to keep our cholesterol down, right? It's all lies, all manufactured.
That's
all right, we got some more questions, guys. Let's see what we got here. Well, we got some comments too. I like DC Backwoods Soldier. Oh, we already got
that was
one.
before. That was before.
Yeah.
I got another one. Let's see. I feel like if you're a carnivore long enough, your taste buds change and fat becomes more palatable.
Yes.
I could be wrong, but that's what happened to me.
Desired.
That's what happened to me too.
Yeah,
You all too?
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
I was the guy that cut the fat off the steak when I used to eat steaks, you know, and I love the leaner cuts, the New York strips and such. And now not so much. Don't like them. They're
I was the same. Cut the fat off. But now I'll just I'll fry out some beef fat and just eat it as a snack. You know.
All right. So I put this one in because there's a meetup in Austin, Texas. I'm hosting in person. You all from Brisbane and Kentucky are all welcome to come if you can get down to Austin, January 13th, Saturday. So go to my
Kentucky, huh?
Kentucky.
That's a bit of a commute.
I keep messing that up there somewhere.
North Carolina, Kentucky. We'll just keep shooting around it till we get there.
See, it's all about state. All right, Kentucky. So
the Army
come
line.
out to Austin. We're gonna get some barbecue at Rudy's Barbecue, some extra fatty brisket, and that's Saturday the 13th at 2:30 p.m. And I'll be there. And I'm giving out some Carnivore Soldier shirts like John's wearing there. So there will be some shirts and some other things you can get, depending on who shows up and how they do in the competitions or the questionnaire I do. So, all right, just so you guys know. Okay, so the next we have at Carnivore Soldier, I'm entering into Lion Diet myself. For now, it's temporary, just as a trial, as I do lean on eggs to help keep my grocery bill cheaper. LOL. Yeah. Listen, you got to do what you got to do, and if you can afford a BBB&E and mostly carnivore, it's going to be better. I mean, mostly lion. That's going to be better than just regular carnivore. But just do what you got to do. I think you're doing great if you're carnivore at all. That's really the big answer. Lion just helps you eliminate other things. What do you guys think? You have any comments on that? Anyone?
No, absolutely.
I mean, eggs are great. There's nothing wrong with eggs.
Eggs are full of vitamins. They're wonderful. They're full of fat, and I use them. I still eat eggs and bacon every day.
All right, the Wagyu tallow is so good. It is. Hey guys, there's a link to it on my webpage. I have a Amazon affiliate link. So if you guys want to find the one I use, it's fantastic. It's on www.carnivoresoldier.com. Okay. At Carnivore Soldier, I tried the Wagyu tallow today. Love it on the meat. But when I licked the spoon, no thanks. Oh, she didn't like licking the spoon. I licked the spoon. I might just take a bite of it like butter. Just boom. I like it. Okay, we got a question here. When you're carnivore, mostly able to keep nightly leg cramps controlled with large salt electrolytes intake daily. Lately, I've gotten worse with changes to other than chemo. Did DC experience anything like this? DC, this is for you. So he's getting leg cramps from chemo.
No, well, when I was on chemo, I did. But one good way to it can be salt electrolytes. It can also be water. Okay, your water intake will help with cramps. But another mineral that you need for recovery, especially if you're going through chemotherapy, you need a lot more recovery than most people. So I would supplement with magnesium. And if you don't have a good magnesium supplement, you can also get magnesium cream. Okay, so this is something that you have to be aware of as well. Things that you put on your body, okay, is also as important as what you put in your body. When you put in chemicals or soaps and different things like that on your skin, you are absorbing that into your skin and into your endocrine system, which produces which is where your hormones are produced. Okay, and also your T cells. Your T cells start off as white cells in your lymphatic system, go up into your thymus, and then mature into T cells. Okay, and then it goes down into the rest of your endocrine system and produce hormones. So you have to be careful about what you're putting on your body as well. For me, magnesium cream is great for cramps. Okay, magnesium is also great for any kind of injury, any kind of muscle soreness and recovery. So it is also one of the minerals that most people are deficient in. So although you do get it from meat, there are some people that are just going to need to supplement it, especially if you are on chemotherapy, because it destroys your body. It really does, and it breaks down any proteins and in your body as well. So you're not going to get as much recovery as like a normal healthy person would get. So definitely take in as much magnesium as you can, all right? And water.
Yeah,
right?
I have a powder magnesium because for me, I get cramps every now and then. I did have like a spat for 3 weeks where I got cramps really bad in the middle of the night. And I have a powdered magnesium that tastes absolutely like dog crap, but it works really well. It's fast. If I put it in my mouth with water, it's like instantaneous. That thing's gone. So it absorbs really quickly, but it does taste pretty bad, but it's worth it to not cramp up. John, I think we were on your book, right? Were you, did you share what?
No, we were going by that. So I'm reading right now. I'm reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm finishing that up.
That guy's cool.
That's a good book. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great book. And so I'm finishing that up, and then I'm going to start. Let me see if they're going to come up here. The 5 a.m. club. Since I went carnivore, I get up every morning at 5 a.m. I normally catch Dr. Kiltz's live at 5. I sit there and relax, enjoy a cup of coffee, kind of get my mind straight for the day before I even start about getting ready for work or any of that stuff. So that's the next thing on my list, the 5 a.m. club.
And I'm reading Brain Energy by Christopher Palmer. And I think someone else said they were reading that already too. So that's what I'm reading right now. I just started it, and it's fantastic. Really grabbed me right away. So someone else
Robert
is reading
Kiyosaki is really good. Rich Dad Poor Dad. Robert Kiyosaki does some great stuff.
Yeah, he does. That guy's good stuff.
Yeah,
so I'm not the only one, because Budget Go-Go or Bridget Go-Go's doing it. So yeah. So anyway, they're doing that book too. Okay, we have a comment here. On day 3 and loving it. Worst part is not telling anyone outside the household that we're making this dietary change because I don't want to have to explain myself. Well, I think you can, here's the deal. You can always say you're doing a keto diet because believe it or not, carnivore is a ketogenic diet, and it is a very strict ketogenic diet. It is the most ketogenic diet, but it is a keto diet. So you just tell them, hey, I'm just eating keto. And people will just go, oh, they know what that is. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Anything?
I tell when I don't feel like explaining myself, I just tell people I'm on a keto diet, and I eat very low carb and high protein and fat. Yep. And they're like, oh, okay. And then I tell people that I'm allergic to seed oils, so please make sure my steak doesn't touch any seed oils.
Yeah.
The allergic thing works for everything. I'm allergic to seed oils.
You really are. Believe it or not, you are. That's the inflammation you had. Your body was reacting.
Yeah, it's literally it's an adverse reaction to seed oils. So I mean, literally, you are. So, but then there's the other side of me that just loves blowing people's mind and telling them exactly what I eat too. So
Anyone else?
Yeah,
got anything on that?
another way to look at it, though, like Thomas Seyfried says, ketogenic. He doesn't like the term diet because of the word diet has a lot of associated with it. I mean, diet simply means the way that you eat. Like the diet of a kangaroo, for example, is mainly grass. That's the proper diet for a kangaroo. But a lot of people see diet as a way of like restricting and just trying to lose weight because of the health industry, the health food industry.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
ketogenic low carb diets are therapeutic tools. They are a medicine. And that's like when talking to Professor Seyfried, that's what he says. He's like it's a therapeutic tool to put people into ketosis and to help fight cancer and other diseases. So just look at it that way.
I've also used the meat-based whole foods. That's a good one. I eat meat-based whole foods. That works really well. Yeah. When I first told people when I first started, like a couple of close friends, I got the whole the scurvy questions was a big one, and it's just so irritating. I quickly dropped it. So now I just kind of avoid it as much as possible.
I posted some good research that George Goodenough gave me on scurvy on my page, where it's actually
I saw that.
The British Navy treated sailors with scurvy with fresh meat. That was the treatment. And the only reason they're called limeys, the British sailors, is because they didn't want to feed them meat at sea. So instead of giving dried beef, they gave them bread, and they had to have limes with it because they weren't getting enough vitamin C, because you need way more vitamin C if you're eating bread than you do if you just eat meat. It's milligrams to nanograms, so it's like millions of times more vitamin C you need if you're eating a standard American diet. So it's virtually impossible to get scurvy, from what I understand and from people I've talked to that are doctors, if you're eating meat and not eating carbs to get scurvy. Sure. It's really hard.
Well, the reason they fed them, bread and stuff like that, they want to keep them under control too, while they're on a tight, confined ship. For long periods of time. Plus, when they talk about scurvy, back in the day, people that did get scurvy were people who were living in their own filth, living with rats and all sorts of other rodents and that sort of those kind of conditions. It's the same kind of conditions that bred the plague in Europe. That so it's not like it's got nothing to do with clean living.
No, and they were also meat deficient. They were living on ship's biscuits. They were living on flour and water anyway. It's got nothing to do with meat. It's
meat
such a
meat for sure.
That's right. Yeah. People in those conditions could never afford real meat. They're always eating grains and fruits and stuff that they're just bake basically off the bakery.
In Napoleon's army, they actually treated scurvy with fresh meat too. So when someone got scurvy, they gave them fresh meat. All right, Trina's got a question. How can I determine what is possibly causing my histamine? Constantly running nose. What do you guys think? How could she determine that?
Cheese.
Yeah, but how would she figure that out?
I mean, will it reduce? Cut the dairy. Cut the dairy. Cut the cheese. Cut the dairy out.
Possibly eggs. Pork. Pork can give you histamine. I mean, you can just try a lion diet.
There's histamine in eggs. There's histamine in beef, but the ones that give you the most problems is normally the dairy.
Yeah, that's what the whole lion diet's about, is an elimination diet. So you should be able to eliminate everything, go to beef for a month, and then reintroduce things one at a time and see what
just avoid aged beef. Aged beef is higher in histamine. So
coffee is another one too. Coffee will give you the same problem. I've noticed, like, since giving up coffee, I don't have esophageal mucus either. So these mucus buildups are usually due to dairy. If you cut it out, at least give it a try. But if it's still happening, cut out coffee, and increase maybe your salt intake. Salt is really good for clearing up the sinuses and getting rid of esophageal mucus as well.
All right,
that's good advice right there. I like that.
Yeah, that's good. Let's see. Charger Mopar from Florida. Am I the only one not tempted by anything other than meats and carnivore foods? I think, after you've been on a long time, that's what you are. But when you're first starting out, there's always the temptation to go back to your standard meal that you remember fondly and kind of crave, whether it's emotional or physiological. But you know, you've been on over 40 years, Rick. So for you, it's not the case.
That, and he has an endless supply of iguanas too. So
Yeah, and ducks. All
Yeah,
right,
I think if you took away his iguanas, he might be craving them every now and then.
Yeah,
I think that just ruined you for anything else. Who would want anything other than iguana?
All right, we got someone telling that they're on a low carb Mediterranean. Yeah, you can just say ketogenic or just say a low carb diet. At least if you say low carb, people get it, right? That's all you got really. You don't even say ketogenic.
My new favorite one is if it had a face for a mama, I can eat it.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. Like, did that avocado have a face on it that you didn't draw? Because if it did, then you can eat it. If you drew it,
if it had a face for a mama, it's on the diet.
If it
right, we're
moved
like
at
an
one
hour
stage
and 15 minutes in, guys. Do you want to go a little further?
Dear the original fast food.
Yeah, I'm good.
My dinner's getting cold actually, so I'm gonna cut out of here.
All right, brother. Thanks, man. Thanks for stopping by, John. I'm gonna keep you
absolutely appreciate you having me on here, guys.
Appreciate you. Thanks, John.
And I went and subscribed to your channel already, so it was good meeting you.
All right,
yeah, you too, man.
Another subscriber.
Yeah,
let's see how many subscribers we
likewise.
get to Pete's channel.
How many did you start with?
So I previously did videos about where I lived. So I had a channel that already had some subs. So I had about 400 to begin with. I made an announcement that I was going to change the channel, and I've picked up about 150 over the last 3 weeks.
You're at 569 now.
Yeah,
nice.
So I'm pretty happy. Yeah, great. Wow, that's picking up.
Yeah, you picked up quite a few tonight. So it was good meeting you. Shoot me an email at carnivorebackwoods@gmail.com. carnivorebackwoods@gmail.com. Shoot me an email, and I'll get you on the live stream with me on Sunday.
Yeah,
just
and all you got to check out Carnivore
Yes.
Backwoods channel.
Carnivore Backwoods.
Yeah, everyone check it
Yep.
out.
Will do,
But
John. Thanks,
just to
man.
clarify,
Thanks for the
it doesn't mean that he's backwards. It just means that he lives in the backwoods.
I live in the backwoods of
Lives in
East
the
Tennessee.
backwoods. Yeah. Of
Let me
East Tennessee,
tell you, when you hear banjo music, you just need to go one block farther.
Okay. I'll listen for the banjos.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Good night.
All right, man.
Bye.
You got Sandra saying doing this push-up challenge and maybe look for breakfast. But until then, I wasn't moving enough to need to eat too much. Yeah, I eat a lot more on the days I work out. Like today, I ate 3/4 pounds of beef patties, and then I ate 2 bowls of my pot roast that I cooked all day, and it was fantabulous. I just ate till I was satiated, like I wasn't hungry anymore. The last bite of my burgers was kind of a chore to get down. I was like, all right, but I knew I had to get it in because I had a heavy lifting day. So,
yeah. I mean, like on activity days, you're going to eat more than non-activity days, and that's just something you're going to work out for yourself as well. When you're hungry, eat. And if you increase your activities, then of course your diet, you're going to need more nutrients. Okay. I do something at least 6 days a week, but on the 7th day when I'm not really doing a lot, I'll eat half of what I usually eat. So,
Hey Pete, here's a question I'll let you take this one. Bianca she's new, she hasn't started yet, so she's just starting.
Yeah.
How much electrolyte should I take in a day? Like the LMNT unflavored, that's good. Unflavored is good. Would I do 1 or 2 of these a day or more? What did you say, Pete? Did you take?
I might not be the best person to answer that. My electrolytes are pretty much Himalayan salt. That's I really swear by pink salt because it covers a lot of different minerals. I've never really supplemented with electrolytes. I think I've taken magnesium 2 or 3 times. I did get cramps really early on, maybe in the first month, a couple of nights of leg cramps, and I took magnesium at that point. But I wouldn't take iodized table salt. I'd avoid that for obvious reasons. But the Himalayan pink salt, man, I'm pretty, salt to taste. Don't overdo it. When I overdo it, I know I've overdone it. You can just taste it. That really covers my bases. But in terms of element and stuff like that, I've never tried it.
This whole taste, nose, hunger thing is like a super highly sophisticated machine designed over,
Exactly.
either designed by a creator or evolved over millions of years, whichever you prefer, that has basically, you have to trust it. It's really highly evolved. We could never design something this good. So once you get it working, it's amazing. DC, did you take electrolytes, or did you when you started?
No, I don't take any electrolytes. Just again, mineral salt, like the pink salt. Any kind of colored mineral salt is going to be high in electrolytes, and healthier. Especially, don't ever take that white, like iodized sort of table salt crap.
Yeah,
sugar, maltodextrin and all.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Yeah,
just all sorts of wrong that shit. But magnesium is something that you might need if, especially if you're starting out, to help with cramps, and for recovery and things like that. But honestly, I don't take any. I've never taken any extra electrolytes, especially things like LMT. I think that's one way. I mean, they're quite expensive. Like $60 for a box or something. So that can make your carnivore budget sort of blow out. I think you're better off focusing, budget-wise, focus on the meat and the actual diet, not so much the supplements. You try and get off as many supplements as possible.
Yeah, because and mineral water will help too, because mineral water's got minerals in it. Obviously, if you get local mineral water,
tons of that.
Topo Chico, 1877 here in Austin, or in HEB has it, which is Texas spring mineral water. So it's got a lot of minerals. I mean, our ancestors did not supplement with electrolytes, right? Now they did eat some blood in the meat, and the blood has plenty of electrolytes in it, and they did drink from ponds and streams that had lots of electrolytes in it. So our water's filtered. So, and especially when you first start this, because we're not starting like our ancestors did. Our ancestors did it their whole life. We're starting from an inflamed point. So when you start, you're going to pee a lot, and you're going to dilute down, and that's why you need to replenish your electrolytes in the beginning. So I'd say the first couple of weeks, possibly, until that water weight stabilizes out. For me, it was like 2 or 3 weeks. So I was peeing 3 times a night, I think, and it was crazy.
Well,
and
there's a lot of things going to happen when you're starting. You are basically your body is detoxing, and you're also oxalate dumping. Okay, a lot of people don't understand or don't even know about what oxalates are. Little crystals that sort of form in joints and things like that. That you get from carbs, fruit, vegetables, and especially all the processed garbage food that corporations feed us. So your body is going through a lot of changes when you first start, and I mean these changes will continue because you will get continued improvements. I'm continuing to improve still now.
Me too.
But the first few months are going to be a real getting used to sort of period. Oxalate dumping can be a little bit harsh. You might get headaches. You might get other sorts of problems. You get some people get what's called keto flu. Okay, but this is just your body detoxing. Okay, which is another reason why fasting can help through periods like that. But again, I wouldn't fast if you're just starting carnivore. I wouldn't fast until at least 4 or 5 month mark. And then, even then, you need to prime before you fast.
I used to get years ago when I did keto, I definitely got more cramps and side effects like that. But since going carnivore, especially lion with the pink salt, I feel great. I feel I've never had any problems.
And
because you're not mixing any carbs.
I take
exactly.
And I started when I was doing it. I was taking Redmond real salt and mixing it with water, and that's what I did. Now I don't take anything at all, not even magnesium. I just put salt on my food, and I know how much to put on now because I know what I like. So I do a steak or a burger, and it's a lot. It's I know because I usually salt it and then taste it like, oh, it needs a little more salt, and I throw a little bit more on with that tallow, and then I get to the point where like, okay, it's perfect, and your body will, like I said, it's gonna taste good because you're gonna need it, right? And well, you'll find out you're that super highly sophisticated system right here. The nose, the tongue, your stomach, it's your brain. It's amazing.
A lot of people
Sorry, you go.
I was just going to say, another people are going to find that cramps will probably happen like usually early morning sort of thing, like sleeping.
Yep.
Yeah, a good trick is the first thing you do when you wake up is to drink water with salt in it. Yeah, that's something I still do every day. I drink at least 2 cups of water with salt because you need to hydrate as well. You need to rehydrate after spending all night without drinking or without eating or anything like that. So after spending all night without any water, you need to rehydrate first thing in the morning. So have 2 cups of water with salt in it will help
Especially
you hydrate.
if you pee a couple times at night because you're dumping all that fluid, right? And the oxalates and everything. So yeah, that's another thing.
Right.
So here's my website, guys, just so you guys know. I have up here merch links, and this is where you can go to my Amazon links, and you can see all my stuff. My Carnivore Health has like all my supplements and stuff. Although, Fred, it doesn't have that powdered magnesium. I can email you that if you want it. This is much more palatable. It's like the link I have is to a gel cap on Amazon. But anyway, so those don't cost any more. They're just links on Amazon, and I get a small referral fee. It just helps run the channel. So if you guys do buy something, all my seasonings there, Redmond real salt, all that stuff. So check it out. And that's that. Okay, let's see what else we got. All right. So I think we're going to wind it down. Pete, what do you got planned this week? And
I am currently working on my second video. So I went out and shot all my piece to camera stuff yesterday. And I've ditched half of that because I didn't like it. So I'm going to have to reshoot some of it. So I go back to work in 4 days. So I've got 4 days to get the second video up and running. And spend time with my family as well.
Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Now, are you going to do interviews and live stream format too?
Yeah, 100%. I actually did an interview with my mate Mitch, a recorded interview as part of my first episode, just to test the waters, get my skills up. But 100%. And I'm going to be appearing with DC next Wednesday night. We're still locking in the time, but it'll be 7 or 8 p.m. Australian time, and with Dave Mack as well. He's going to participate.
Nice. I love Dave.
And
he's a great guy.
We're the Aussie Carnivore connection.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so you're my favorite 3 Aussies. You're the only 3 I know.
Yeah, Limitless India will be on there as well.
Oh, terrific. Yeah, so that the DC came up with the idea, and it's a bloody good one. So we're gonna pursue that.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing that every week, and if we can rope in, next week will be 8 o'clock our time, Brisbane time, 8 p.m. But weeks after that, we'll have to sort of negotiate setting a time that suits everyone. So, but we'll have Limitless Lindy next week, Dave Mack, Pete, and hopefully soon after that, we'll have Rod from Stay Strong, Live Long.
Yeah, that's cool. And Pete, have I sent you my calendar link to get you on my show for an interview yet? I can't remember if I have.
I think you have. I mean, I used the calendar link to get onto this stream. Is it in the same?
Yeah. I think I sent you one for an individual interview too on that same email, right? If I didn't, let me know. There's a different calendar.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
So
yeah,
that'd do an interview.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Really enjoy it. So, I'd like to sort of go into my mental health and depression issues as well, because that's something.
That's great. That's what
that's been one of the big game changers of this whole experience. So
that's what makes this a life-changing experience, I think, for me, was the mental, because the physical is huge, but the mental is the unexpected thing that really made it a life-changing experience and changed my identity. Like, boom, turn the switch on. That's why I started a YouTube channel. It
really does.
Me too. Me too. Yeah, I can so relate. It's incredible. It's really powerful.
Well, that's something that I think everyone sort of goes through, like just being on that junk food really it makes you depressed, and it makes you think that's life, but so many people go through this, these struggles in life, and then there are some big struggles and big setbacks in life. First responders, military, they see a lot of it, on a daily basis. It's horrible stuff that they sort of see. And, I don't want to talk too much about my situation, but, I've been homeless, and, I've been through a quake and tsunami looking at things that, you know, it was basically a war zone. You know, people, these the way you eat has a big bearing on how you feel about how you look at things and your mental health, your mental clarity. You know, after so many years, even the brain damage I've suffered from chemotherapy, you know, even that is recovering from a proper healthy diet. You know, it's
Yeah, absolutely.
it is a huge change to the way to the way we live.
Yeah,
DC,
it's the way it
we
was
got a
supposed to
question
be.
for you. Yeah, it's the way it's supposed to be. We got a question for you, DC. On the inflammation causing health issues, can you explain the difference when causing high intensity exercise inflaming muscles? So he wants to know the difference between inflammation from a diet and inflammation from exercise, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The difference is the time. Okay. You do get inflammation from exercise. Okay. But that doesn't mean you have to avoid exercise. Okay. It's a temporary inflammation. Right. And this is where growth is happening as well. This inflammation is like I was talking about earlier, the insulin spike. You also get insulin spike from exercise and things like that, because that insulin spike is forcing protein into the muscles for recovery. Okay, which is why, you know, like a bodybuilder will eat something sweet after training to force the protein into the muscles to help recovery faster. But your body does that naturally. All right, that's what it is. It is a reaction to exercise. The difference between that and diet inflammation is that diet inflammation is a constant. It is, you are constantly causing inflammation and you are not recovering.
Yeah.
Okay. You are
It's
just
chronic.
forcing. Yeah, it's chronic.
Yeah.
All right. And you're forcing all sorts of stuff into muscle tissue. And that's where you get like adipose tissue and stuff like that as well. You start getting fat into muscle tissue, and you end up looking like Wagyu beef sort of thing. That's the difference. Okay, so don't be afraid that. And people, I know, I've seen these so-called ridiculous influences on YouTube, like saying, you know, exercise causes inflammation and, you know, all sorts of problems like that. Bullshit. All right, it's just bullshit. You know, these people have no clue what they're talking about, or they're just, you know, dumb and corrupt. So, you know, exercise is essential. The inflammation reaction is essential to help the body recover. Okay, that's where you get that protein forced into the muscles and into the bones and into the connective tissue to recover.
Yeah.
The difference is it is very temporary, very fleeting. Like in 20 minutes, you're later on, you're fine. Okay, at resting state, you are fine. The difference is with diet is that you don't get that resting period afterwards. It is chronic. It is permanent. All right.
All right, guys, that's it. We're going to wrap it up. We're at 1 hour and 33 minutes. I'm going to drop you guys off stage, say goodbye, and stick around. We'll talk for a little bit. All right, guys?
All right, guys.
Cool.
See you, everyone.
Thanks for having me, Larry.
Yeah.
See you guys.
All right. Well, that was another great conversation we had, man. We got a lot of learning. Any of the new people out there, if you have any other questions, please drop them down in the comments if you're watching this on the recorded show, and I will definitely answer anything that's down there to the best of my ability. Please go ahead and check out these guys' channels. If you like this content, please like and subscribe to my channel and their channels as well. And all I got to say is stay strong and overcome. Carnivore Soldier out.